Hello and welcome to this video on BSNL 4G project, its perception and facts. My name is Ayan Paul. I'm associated with mobile network planning team of BSNL Kolkata. In this video, I will discuss about different technical perspective of BSNL 4G project. What are uh, deliverables of BSNL employees to make this project successful, and also what kind of expectation we can have from this project. This video will not only be useful for the persons who are associated with the BSNL project, but also it will be useful for all the employees of BSNL who can understand the technical details of this particular project. Also, it will be beneficial for the partners of BSNL who will be able to understand the nitty-gritty of this project so that they can feel confident about its product. This is the content of this video. First, I will give a brief introduction of the project. Next, we will talk about some common perception about the project. Thirdly, I will discuss about some technical details of the project. And in the last, we will talk about different kind of deliverables of BSNL towards the project and what kind of expectation we can have from the project. So let's start with the introduction. This BSNL 4G project is not only special for BSNL, but rather it's a landmark project from national perspective. 4G as a technology is available to the citizen of India from 2013-14. But this is the first time the 4G technology is indigenously developed by Indian companies and being rolled out by an operator. So this is a landmark project in the sense that if this project can be successful, so it will make India a self-reliance in respect to communication technologies and networks, and also there is a huge opportunity for the developer to export this technology to different countries and the export in a cost effective way such that they can make a huge difference to the world. So this project is very much important not only for BSNL but all the for all the companies who are involved with this project. Now let us discuss about the major players involved with this project. Obviously, BSNL is the main player on whose infrastructure this network is being rolled out. Next, major player is Tata Consultancy Services, who is going to supply the network gears for this project to BSNL. Now, this project has mainly two parts. One is radio access network part or the RAN, another is core part. This RAN or the BTSS will be developed by Tejas Network, a quite well-known telecom gear maker in India, and the software of the core networks will be developed by CDOT. The basic uh, activity of the TCS is to integrate the hardware and softwares from different sources and to make a network for delivering 4G services to the BSNL user. Well, we have been getting different kind of information from different sources, sometimes news media, sometimes WhatsApp or social media regarding this 4G project. So all of us have developed some kind of conception about the project. In this section, I will basically discuss about those conceptions. Well, the first conception many of us is having is that as private players are launching 5G services, so 4G service is going to be obsolete soon. So let us see whether this conception is actually correct or not. Well, this is the data from Ericsson Mobility Report of June 2022. If you see that this is in 2021, India, Nepal, and Bhutan has almost 68% of 4G customers. This is 68% of customers or market share goes to 4G, and 27% goes to uh, basically 2G services. This is predicted that in 2027, these market share of 4G will come down from 68% to 55%. So we can see from this report that this is estimated that even after 5 years, in 2027, 4G will have a substantial market share of 55%, whereas these 5G may acquire around 39% of market share. So even if 5G will be there, but 4G is going to remain a dominant player or dominant technology in mobile market. So this conception that 4G will be obsolete soon is not correct. Next, I would like to discuss about our next conceptions uh, hold by majority. That is, the BSNL is actually deploying old technology that has been already deployed by other operators years ago. Partly this is true, but there is a difference. 4G, or the technical name of the 4G, is LTE, or long term evolution. There is a standardization body called 3GPP. This standardization body actually developed this technology or developed the standards. So this 3GPP has developed LTE in its version release 8. So LTE actually technically called 3GPP release 8. This is actually the pre 4G. Now the 3GPP release 8 has been upgraded to 3GPP release 10. It is called LTE Advanced in technical terms. This is actually called 4G. Later, it was updated to 3GPP release 12 or LTE Advanced Pro. So all those LTE, LTE Advanced, LTE Advanced Pro, all are 4G. These are developed or standardized at different point of time. Release 8 was standardized in 2008, Release 10 in 2012, and Release 12 in 2014. But BSNL is coming out with a technology that is 3GPP Release 14. That is the most advanced version of 4G, which is developed and ratified in 2017 only. So this is the most updated version of 4G, which supports lots of advanced use cases and this is just behind the 5G. So this is quite different than which one deployed by the other operators. In this section, I will talk about the technical details of the project. First, we talk about spectrum, which is a basic infrastructure or requirement of any wireless network. For BSNL 4G, BSNL will be allocated separate spectrum at 2100 or 2.1 GHz spectrum band. The 5 MHz bandwidth of spectrum, separate spectrum will be allocated to BSNL for providing the 4G services. This will be in addition to the 3G spectrum BSNL is already having on this 2.1 GHz spectrum band. So, if BSNL wishes, it can actually stop the 3G services and utilize the 3G spectrum to provide 4G services. So in that case, BSNL will have 10 megahertz of spectrum in 2100 megahertz band to provide 4G services. In addition to that, BSNL will be having 900 megahertz of spectrum. So this 900 megahertz of spectrum is already being used by BSNL to provide 2G services. So in this 900 megahertz band, BSNL in majority of locations have 6.2 megahertz of spectrum, 6.2 megahertz bandwidth of spectrum. Now, within this 6.2, what BSNL can do, it can bifurcate the spectrum, use 3 megahertz for providing 4G services and rest 3.2 megahertz for providing 2G services. So BSNL can actually provide 4G services using two spectrum bands, one at 900 megahertz, another at 2100 megahertz. These 900 megahertz is actually much more efficient with respect to its coverage because it can penetrate the indoor or having a good indoor coverage penetrates the barriers or walls much better compared to 2100 megahertz spectrum. So BSNL can actually provide VOA LTE, or that means that voice over LTE services or commonly known as voice services using this 4G technology with this 900 megahertz spectrum and data services with 2100 megahertz of spectrum band. So that is how BSNL can actually solve lots of problems in respect to voice usage as well as data usage. Now we'll discuss about the equipment part which will be actually deployed in the network to provide the 4G services. This is the architecture which is being deployed in BSNL is actually a 5G network architecture that is supporting 4G in case of BSNL. That means five, the network architecture employed by BSNL is actually 5G ready, or it's a 5G network architecture to provide the 4G services. The basic concept or specification of the 5G architecture is, in short term, we can call CUPS, that is control and user plane separation. And this separation, that means the control data and the user plane data are separated at the beginning from the BTS level only. So These cups architecture is being employed by BSNL to provide the 4G services. So this is the state of the art network architecture so that we can provide a very efficient services of 4G. Next is the this is 100% virtualized. Virtualization means softwareized. That means many different functions of the network will be softwareized, means that hardware will be same but different kind of functions will be actually softwareized and installed on the specific generic hardware. The concept of virtualization is not new. Actually, it was there, but in network or telecom domain, this is a new concept. But let us look at the some historical perspective of virtualization. Well, suppose in 1990s, you can have different kind of hardware for different kind of functions. You need a video recorder, you need a tape recorder, you need uh, different kind of say torch or CD player for different kind of functions or utility. Now, all those functions are actually integrated on a same hardware, that is a mobile phone, and all those functions are actually being softwareized and installed on our mobile phone. So this is the basic concept of virtualization or softwareization. In network there are lots of functions, and for that we use different kind of hardwares nowadays, say MSC, HLR, SDSN. Those are different kind of functions, but in case of softwareized or virtualized, it can same hardware can be utilized for different functions. So these function will be softwareized and put on a standard hardware. So this is the basic or the very efficient way of network rollout. So what the solution for this 4G BSNL is providing is a cloud native one. Cloud native means that this is a basically built in for cloud solutions. What cloud basically means? Cloud means we can have different kind of demand, and whenever we demand a particular function or services, I can get it on demand. For example, I want to have a car or hail a car for cab services. Whenever I want, I can get a car through Ola or Uber kind of services. So this is a cloud solution. Similarly, these kind of different kind of solutions or BSNL network functions can be actually built on cloud so that whenever demand picks up for a particular service, I can actually make it a scalable solution, or my I can scale my services in a to such a point that there will not be any kind of uh, business will not be hampered. So this is a very state of the technology that is being deployed by BSNL for this 4G network. Another advantage of this network is that this network will actually support 5G as well in very near future. BSNL is going to provide non-standalone 5G services. That means the same core network will support 4G services as well as 5G services in near future, in very near future. That means BSNL is not only ready for 4G, it is also getting ready for 5G rollout as soon as possible. Also, one advantage of this 4G BTSs or eNode B manufactured and delivered by Tejas Networks is that they have special transport capability. That means in a particular site, we don't need to keep additional transport equipment for these 4G BTS. So lots of additional transport features is also there are inbuilt uh, with this 4G eNode B or Tejas Node eNode B so that we can utilize the transport facility as well as the traditional RAN facility on the same equipment. So it's a quite integrated equipment that is being developed by Tejas. Now coming on the specification of 4G BTS. If you see the all the BTS will be actually uh, put into outdoor locations. That means we don't need to have a AC environment to run this BTS. It will have around weight of around 128 kgs, and all those BTS will be on RRH based uh, equipment. That means there will be small VBU, and these VBU will be connected to the RRH. These RRH will be located or will be placed on the tower, and total power consumption of this 4G eNode B will be around 1950 watt or less than 2 kilowatt. So energy wise also this is quite energy efficient. Now looking at the bandwidth part, that means what kind of bandwidth it can provide to the customers. So if we can provide 44-hour configuration, then it can provide 150 Mbps of download speed per sector. And if 2T2R or two transmit, two receive uh, uh, specification is there, uh, of the eNode B. In that case, it can provide around 75 Mbps of download speed and 25 Mbps of upload speed. That means if there are multiple customers as well, we can expect that the users will get more than 10 Mbps or 10 to 20 Mbps with this BTSs. Now let's talk about the deliverables and expectation from this project. In this case, the mobile site planning is to be done by BSNL. That means mobile sites are to be identified by BSNL. The backhaul media is to be readied by BSNL, and this backhaul media is should be preferably wave C, because these only eNode Bs will need to be future ready. That means they're ready for 5G, and to support the bandwidth requirement of 5G, we need to put through these eNode Bs through wave C only, or otherwise we have to procure special kind of high bandwidth microwave system to put through this uh, e-note piece. So backhaul is very much required for a desired quality of services. In this project, we need more active participation from BSNL employees because this is a new project and the product is also new. So we need to be quite involved in the process of deployment and understand the nitty gritty of the product. There may be some teething problem because the system is quite new. So there might have be some teething problem, but we are hopeful that we can solve all those problems and we can build a network that is something that can be emulated throughout the world. And so basically we need to have a continuous improvement or continuous development kind of project. Nowadays this is a two big concept that is being very much talked about in software development, that is CI/CD and DevOps. So the basic concept of these approaches are that the development team and the uh, operations team work simultaneously. So whatever the feedbacks are there of operations team, those feedback are received by development team, and based on those feedback they keep on updating their product so that it can meet the market requirement. So this is very important to give to be quite engaged with the project, to give proper feedback to development team so that we can, with the help of it's a team's work, so with this team we can actually build a world class network infrastructure. Thank you for your kind attention. It's my pleasure if I can make you aware of the some of the facts regarding this BSNL 4G project, which is a very prestigious project, and I am really honored to have a kind of platform given by BSNL management to me to share my knowledge and experience with you. So please share your feedbacks, comments, criticism, whatever, uh, to me with this in my email ID so that I can also make this kind of video in future as well. Thank you. Thank you very much.